Well, hey there, it's Elka.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we're talking about time management techniques for Zazzle designer entrepreneurs.
Yeah, your side hustle should not take more time than your actual day job,
Yeah.
or that it replaces your day job in terms of how much time you take. But in order to do that, you also have to have certain things in place that are going to help you manage your time more effectively. So we love this topic and conversation because that's what we had to make this mindset shift when we switched from being like working a 9 to 5 or going to a job and trading dollars for hours. We had to realize that yes, we are going to ultimately have to put hours in to build our own online entrepreneurial business, but we also didn't have to use the same mindset as to, okay, if I put in this many hours, I'm going to actually get this much paid, right? So, and this is where people start to lose the interest in doing an entrepreneurial venture, is because they go like, well, I already put so many hours in, how come it's not working for me? And it's not an hours per dollars anymore. It's actually so that you can understand that you're going to have to put some hours in, but we're going to talk about how many you have to do. But the most important thing is that you can work more efficiently and more effectively with a lot of help. And if you change your habits as well, so that you don't actually understand, like you're taking away some of the things that you had as impressions as to how you needed to work in order for you to be successful in the online space as an entrepreneur. So we're going to help you with that today with some time management techniques. And also we're going to talk about why time management is important for the overall success of your business and aligning the time that you spent in your business so that you can really understand that you are that you even imprint on this in your mind that yes, this is different, this is worth it, rather than just it replacing your day job. So, and then we're going to go into 2 techniques that you can use to easily manage your time and be more effective at creating that successful online business that you've always dreamt of having. That's going to give you that massive passive income, right? Yeah, I like that, massive passive income.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we love talking about that because it just feels good, because that's what's happening to us. Every single day, we are seeing our Zazzle earnings online when we log into our account, and guess what? We made money. But that's because we now work about 4 hours a month to manage our business. What we teach our students, I'm going to teach you or tell you soon what that is, how many hours that is. But initially, I just want to say, you can run a multi-million-dollar business working very few hours a month. We've done that on our Zazzle businesses, and we now maintain our businesses and continue to have that passive income coming in with 4 to even less hours a month whenever we feel like working, right? Okay, so do you want to talk about the first point, the why time management is important?
Well, sure. Okay, I'll go for it. Okay, so why is time management important to be a successful Zazzle designer and entrepreneur? It's especially important because as a Zazzle designer or even an online entrepreneur in any space on the online world, you're working as your own boss, right? You are creating a business that hopefully makes you money going forward, and we definitely want that to be passive, obviously. And this is coming from the mindset of most people shift from, a 9 to 5 job into becoming their own boss or having a side hustle, and it doesn't work the same way, right? When you're at a 9 to 5 job, you go in at 9 a.m. and you get out at 5 p.m. and then your work day is done. And those hours that you've worked are traded in for money earned, right? You earn a salary or you earn an hourly wage. And so that mindset of earning money during a certain amount of time might stick with you even when you're in your own online business or side hustle. And that's not the case with Zazzle, because you're not technically trading your hours for money. You're trading your hours for building a successful business that will hopefully give you much more money than a 9 to 5 job would ever be able to do. And so don't trade your hours trade your hours for dollars anymore. You can't treat it like a 9-to-5 job. You have to treat it as a smart business where you're putting in the hours, and it might be a lot of hours at the beginning, but those hours can technically make you lots of money going forward. And to give you an example, I have one of my Zazzle products that I created, let's say within 1 hour, and that hour actually was spent. How old am I now? But about 6 years ago, I made this Zazzle product, and still to this day, it is making me money. So that 1 hour has made me thousands of dollars. And when I first made that product, did I ever think that would be possible? No, I didn't. And I haven't even had the imagination that would even happen. So we want to give you our insight to the fact that your hours that you spend now, even though you might not see results right away, you will probably see results, or you could possibly see results in the future if you do the work properly, right? And you don't want to hate your side hustle as well. You obviously need to work hard at it at the beginning, make it work and everything, but if you're putting so many hours in and hard work and blood, sweat, and tears type of work, you don't want to end up hating it. We have had so many Zazzle students or students of ours who are Zazzle designers who have said to us, I've spent years trying to make this work, and I'm making cents a day basically because they worked it out. They're making a couple $100 a year, and they've started to hate it. And they said, actually, thankfully I came into your space within your courses and your Facebook community and just your whole, vibe, and listen to your podcast and everything, because I've realized that I need to work smarter and not harder. My hours don't need to be spent struggling. They need to be spent implementing strategic action steps, right? And so if you work less and you make, I'm going to read the point out. If you work less and make more, you will feel happier about putting in the extra time for your online business rather than, with the mindset of, okay, maybe it's the weekend and I don't want to work because from my 9-to-5 job, that's not the culture, right? But even if you do have to work the odd hours or put in extra time, you don't want to hate it because it's going to be something that you're building that will hopefully make you passive income for years to come in the future.
Yeah, and I'm going to add a point that I just realized is we also bring a mindset from our time management, how we manage our time in our 9-to-5, because we didn't need to worry about managing our time.
We were told. Right?
We were told what to do.
Yeah.
And so that's the first part. We actually don't know what to do because we're an entrepreneur. We're in new territory. But also whether you worked well or efficiently or not in your 9-to-5 job, except for maybe if you got fired, you would still get paid, right? Whereas now what you have to do is you have to say, those times are really precious to me, and I have to work more effectively than I've ever worked before. And it's not because I'm worried about getting paid later. It's more that I want to make sure that this rhythm of this new business starts on the right foot, that I literally aren't just replacing how I work in one job compared to another so that it turns into another job, right?
Yeah. I liked that point because a lot of Zazzle designers, that's why they struggle at the beginning, is because they don't really know what to do because, as you said, it's completely new territory. When I first opened up my Zazzle store, I had no idea, is this the right decision? How many hours should I spend? What should I do? Do I have to set an alarm, wake up early and go to work, work, quote unquote, because I need to be in the office doing things? And so at the beginning, I was trying to figure it out. And that's exactly why we're making this podcast, is because you need to know it's not easy at the beginning. And sometimes you might actually be you have a fear of time management too. I know I did because I just didn't know what it was, right? And so you want to make this business work. And as Elka mentioned, that now, previously if you were in a 9-to-5, or maybe you are in a 9-to-5, or, whatever, part-time, etc. You're working in a job where you're getting paid whether you do the work smart or whether you don't do the work smart. As long as you sort of figure out what you're supposed to accomplish and within a time period so your boss doesn't fire you, you're still going to get paid. But on Zazzle and any other e-commerce business, you're literally doing the work for yourself, and if you don't work properly, you're not going to get paid. So there's so much more on the line, especially when it comes to earnings and especially when it comes to time management.
Exactly. Sorry, and I had to plug in my computer, so I made noise
okay.
and dropped off the screen for anyone watching on YouTube. But so the idea here is that that's bringing us really nicely into our second point, which means that you have to align the time you've spent in this new business, which is the Zazzle platform online business that you're trying to start, or have already been working on for a long time, but realize, hey, it's not working for me right now. But you have to align your time in this business to meet your needs and dreams. And this is the part that really messed me up when I first started working on Zazzle. It's like, okay, I'm willing to like go all in, work night and day on this business in order for me to finally get to my dream goal. But what happened, like as Jen mentioned, there's already like a point at some point down the road where it starts to become a love-hate relationship, because you're still maybe not making the money that you want, but you're working darn hard at everything. And so the part that I didn't get until lately, when I started actually making money, was that I should not do it the way that I was working in my old business, which was my 9 to 5, and just adding more hours or more products or whatever it is, just like do more in order for me to earn more, right? And a really interesting thing that I learned at that point, which it took me a long time to actually accept, was I have to understand, and so you do too, that we are starting this new business, in order to have a business that's aligned with what we want, which means working less, making more, and living our dream life. And yet, if you don't actually start living your dream life and start living, like doing the less, making more money all at the same time, right at the beginning, then it's not going to be a good business. So you literally have to set up and align your business the way you start it with actually how you want it to end and how you want it to be at the end when you get there. That just really messed me up initially. Does that mess you up too?
It still does.
Yeah, because we're all keen. Like, I'm going to try my best to make sure that this business works. Like, let's work till 4 a.m. because of this. And it's like, no, actually, you're actually starting to create these habits that you want in your new business. So they have to be aligned already, right? Yeah. And this is why we're talking about time management, is because actually there's so many important things that you have to build and already impress upon yourself as you're building the business. It's not always like, I have to work hard now to make it work later. That's, I guess, the real point of all of this. And so what I want to say to you is, let's start these habits and align these things right away from the beginning. It'll make you feel happier. You may or may not earn as much money right away as you can, but you've got to set things into place. You have to get the right training. You have to know what to do. You have to follow a proven plan, all these things, so that you can decrease the time of the learning curve, but ultimately still give yourself the grace to say, well, I can't make this like also a 9 to 5 because I'm already working 9 to 5. Or if you have no other job and you're now like retired or whatever and you want to do this, don't just slip into the 9 to 5. Because first of all, that brings up a lot of habits and old things and old bad memories of your thing you want to get away from. But also it doesn't help you imprint on how this new business is going to look for you. And you'll start to get upset, right? You'll start to hate your side hustle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we actually tell our students that they should work 20 hours a month. That's 5 hours a week. And as soon as people hear that, you might just like have the same reaction right now, is why is that possible? Or how is that possible? Yeah. Or what do you think?
No, yeah.
Yeah. And I just, you started saying something, so I wanted to...
Well, I chimed in and just said, people think that, how is that even possible? Yeah.
But and people go like, that's just crazy. But our top students, and that means the people who've earned the most money so far, having gone through our Profit by Design Academy training, have actually done that because not because they've said this is what Elka told them to do or Jen told them to do. It's more they didn't have a choice. They have a really difficult, time-consuming, long hour work that they are doing currently as their day job. And they said, I don't want to be in that anymore. I want to be independent. I want to have passive income coming in. And so how do I make this work? And I go like, you can do this in 20 hours. Just follow all the things that we talk about and teach you in the Profit by Design Academy. We give you what to make, the schedule, when to do it, how many hours to do. And so Brandon especially goes like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. I can't do this in this time frame. And if you've already watched some of and listened to or read any of our blog posts, you'll know that that's the case. It's always been his story. And of course, that's one of the reasons that he's been able to chart his story for us and allow us to talk about it so much, because he did do that. He literally kept his hourly log of what he was doing, and now he's made over $150,000 in lifetime earnings in less than 3 years. And in the end, it was true that Brandon was able to manage to make $150,000 in lifetime earnings while working either 20 hours a month or even less with the things that we've taught in the Profit by Design Academy, and having us help him with time management. And so this is really wonderful and good news for us and for you, because it obviously means that people can do it, and maybe you can do it as well. And the same with Christine. Christine has a job that she works with her parents in a store during the day, and it's a long, hard day. And then at night, she'll crack open her computer and start working on Zazzle, and she doesn't really have time to do more than 20 hours a month. And she too has made actually $100,000 in 2020 alone, let alone her lifetime earnings, which are almost at the $200,000 mark at the time of this recording. So congratulations to both of these wonderful people. But the key here is that they are managing their time. And so if you do that, and if you follow the right steps, that while you're using your time effectively, you're also doing the right things, then you're going to be in a position where you can possibly do what you need to do to get to your successful dream goal of your Zazzle business. All right. So as I said, though, we always can't make any income claim statements, but we have proof that there are people doing this all the time, and these are just 2 examples. Okay, so we want to move into the 2 techniques that you can take away right now, other than coming into our Profit by Design Academy, where you can actually learn and get the access to all the things that we teach in terms of how to be productive, what products to make, when to make them, when to promote, what to do in terms of targeting certain things, and how to move your business forward once you start to see sales so that you can really scale up fast. That's obviously in the Profit by Design Academy and way past this podcast training. But we are going to touch on 2 techniques that you can take away and use right now to be more effective in your business. And you can also aim right now to try and make it under 20 hours a month that you spend on it. So try and do that if you want. But when you're, there's 2. One is called Eat the Frog, and it's based on a Brian Tracy technique that is really important to understand, that it's not, you don't have to eat frogs, but who would want to eat a frog? But if you have to eat a frog, then do it first. That's the key to this technique, is do the hard thing first as soon as you start to work. And then that means that if you start to, go down the rabbit hole of certain things that you've got dinged on Instagram, you got a message, or you've got an extra notification as an email came through, or you're just having fun looking at designs and all of a sudden it's an hour later, then what really needs to happen is at least you did the first thing first. That was the most important, even if you wasted a little bit of time afterwards. So that's the first technique, and it's really simple. Just like, what is that one thing that would make my business move forward? And you do that first every single day that you have a chance to work on your Zazzle business that you want to make into your dream business. And then the second technique is called the Pomodoro timer technique. And this helps you, it's not just to keep time for you to say, okay, in 15 minutes I'm going to get this done. It's actually a technique that's helping you say, okay, I need a break after a certain amount of time because I'm less effective if I don't have a break after 20 to 25 minutes. And we think this, we have to keep working. Don't stop. Don't take a break. And it's actually so important that you do, because you'll be much more effective when you come back. Even if you've taken a 10-minute break, you'll probably be more effective in that's like if you work 40 minutes, you work 20 minutes first, then you take a break, you'll actually be more effective in those 30 to for the next 20 minutes rather than the, sorry, let's start again. Okay, so let's take an hour. You work for 20 minutes, the timer goes off, you take a break for 10, or let's make it 20. It's easy. Then the next 20 minutes, which finishes up the hour, you'll be actually more effective in those 20 minutes than you would if you worked in the entire 40 extra minutes. And the reason for that is that just our human bodies just can't handle and focus and stay focused and be as effective for an hour or more at a time. It's much better if you take breaks and come back. And so try that. And you can actually go online, search Pomodoro, and we'll put a link here in the show notes. But it's a really cool thing. You can even get a little tomato app for your computer, and you can just put that on. And then when the timer goes off, you go like, I'm taking a break. And so it's actually really exciting because like I get a break now. But what you'll also realize is that you'll realize how little you're getting done in 20 minutes. But once you start to do this more often and the timer's going to come off, go off in 5 minutes, it's like, I can still do this beforehand. So it's literally a way to motivate you as well.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I have, yeah. And it's interesting because I think also when you give yourself the time, a space of a certain amount of minutes, then you're trying to actually be as effective and as efficient because your brain is thinking, okay, I only have 5 minutes left, or I only have a couple minutes left. And so you're actually getting more work done rather than if you were like, okay, I'm going to take the next hour and do all these things. As you mentioned, your brain goes all over the place and you might not be focused the entire time. And if you take a break, then you're conscious of the fact that this is your break time. And then when the timer goes on or you put the timer on again, you're conscious of the fact that that's the time that you should be effectively working. So, yeah.
So try those two techniques, Eat the Frog and the Pomodoro timer. So that wraps up this podcast, and I hope that you've really fully understood why time management is really important for not even Zazzle designers, but also for anyone who's creating an online business or being an entrepreneur and not being in that 9-to-5 situation where someone tells you got to do this in this time frame. And because it's up to us, right? We have to do it. And then also that you can align and you should align how you want your business to be now with how you actually start and work your business up and scale it. And if you don't do that, then you might end up hating your side hustle to start with, and you'll stop before you realize it could possibly be a thing for you. And then the two techniques that we talked about that you can use right away to do time management and be more effective are Eat the Frog and the Pomodoro timer technique. So thank you so much for watching
and listening, and we will see you in the next episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast.
Bye.